Had a little trouble trying to figure out what to say today. You know, Calvin was such a good friend, and remember his kids growing up with my kids, and you know, I just was thinking about Calvin and the steak fry coming up, and just in this very room right here, all of us have had our lives affected by cancer. Some of you personally, some of you with the people you love the most, and it just seems like cancer is more prevalent now in our lives than ever. And it's kind of symbolic of the fragility of life. And how sometimes that journey that we take doesn't always go the way we'd like it to. And I know on Father's Day, I miss my dad. I mean, we all have different experiences with our father. My dad died the week before Jude and I flew to Texas to get Quentin, of all things. And my dad was, in a way, a lot different than me. He was nicer. He was a man of few words. He never wrote me, except he wrote me one letter. And I think I've mentioned this in years past. I remember I got this letter from my dad, and it said, "Dear Donnie," of all things. He said, "Dear Donnie, I had nothing to do, so I thought I'd write. I have nothing to say, so I think I'll close. Love, Dad." Every Sunday night when he was living at 737, I'm not sure why, I would sit on my front porch and pour a glass of brandy, like I needed an excuse, and I would call my dad. And he would answer the phone. And I would say, "Hey," I called him Layman, he called me Reverend. And I said, "Layman, how are you today?" And he would say, "Reverend, I'm doing quite well." Then he'd say, "Reverend, how was your sermon today?" And I would say, "Average." And he said, "How was the collection today?" And I would say, "Average." And he would say, "Reverend, you know, there's nothing wrong with being average." It's one thing my dad taught me, that being average, being able to accept who you are and where you are, is indeed an unaverage gift, to somehow be humbly content with who and where you are. You see, life ultimately is about perspective. It's somehow being able to look at ourselves and the world around us and trying to find some degree of contentment and quit always trying to be something other than God made us to be. And also taking the time to listen to and understanding the heartbeat and the heart song of somebody else and not always putting ourselves first. You know, Jesus is not all that hard to believe in. For example, before he left this earth, he gave his followers these instructions. And this wouldn't be a bad way to live. He told them in the gospel for today, "Go out in the world, cure the sick, raise the dead, cleanse the lepers, don't expect to be paid, don't take with you gold or silver, don't bring a backpack for your journey. When you enter somebody's house, greet them and send them your peace. And if you go into somebody's house and they do not accept your peace, shake the dust off your sandals and go somewhere else." And I thought to myself, I need to live like that. All we can do in life is give it our best. Be kind. Be gentle. Share your peace. Do the best you can. Be a good friend. Be a good daughter. Be a good dad. Be a good worker. And if that is not good enough in somebody else's eyes, go on to somebody else who appreciates who you are. Following Jesus is pretty basic stuff. You know, I'm not much of a golfer. I've tried to be, but I'm not. But last Father's Day, when I came back to the church to get ready for Sunday, somebody put a thing on my door. And it might have been one of you. And it was entitled, "The Back Nine." And I'd like to share it with you. I'm in the back nine of my life. And it kind of catches me by surprise. How did I get to the back nine so fast? Where have the years gone? And where did my youth go? I'm on the back nine. and I'm not sure exactly how long it's going to last. Sometimes during the day, taking a shower is my goal. My nap is no longer a treat. It's mandatory. There is no promise that I will see all the seasons of my life. So I need to live for today and say all those things you need to say to those you love the most. Stay well, my friend, and remember, it's not what you gather, but it's what you scatter that defines who you are as a person. Do you realize that today is the oldest you've ever been? And yet at the same time, it's the youngest you'll ever be? So enjoy this day while it lasts. I had a funeral yesterday for a guy whose back nine didn't last very long. He was only 61 years old. And on the outside, this guy was everything that I'm not. He built his own airplane. He could fix anything. I can't fix anything or build anything. I know who to call, but I can't do it. At the age of 48, he was in a serious accident and spent the last 13 years of his life in an almost vegetative state in his own home. And his wife dedicated the past 13 years to take care of him every single day. When I talked to the kids about the funeral, they said that in his younger years, they had the best dad ever. He made sure that home was paid for. He made sure he set aside money for their education. He gave them every opportunity to follow their dreams. And at the funeral, I said, your family has lived the circle of life because for so long in that circle, your dad took care of you. And for the last 13 years, you took care of him. And that is what life is all about. Tomorrow, we'll gather to remember Calvin. 3 months ago, he goes into the hospital for back spasms and finds out that he's in the back nine of his life, and it's not going to last very long. And also this morning, I think of the 7 sailors who were in that accident, who lost their lives, their families' lives forever changed. And I think of one dad today whose kids got him a ticket to the U.S. Open in Wisconsin, and he's sitting there watching the best golfers of the world over an ice-cold beer. Now that's the way to spend Father's Day. Sometimes I wonder about religion. On the one hand, religion is about churches and things that need to be done. It's about weddings and funerals, coming to church, steak fries and Sunday school, catechism classes. And sometimes religion can get in the way because it's just another thing to do. But ultimately, religion is about life. It's about being a good dad. It's about being a good uncle. It's about being a good friend. It's about holding each other up when you can't hold up yourself. It's about reaching out to somebody else who can't take care of themselves. It's about understanding that it's okay to be weak and strong at the same time. It's about giving your all on the front nine because we don't know what's going to happen on the back nine. Religion is about writing a letter and saying, I love you,